Hello, everybody. Great to be talking to you after it's been a while since I've been able to do one of these updates, but my team wants me to wait until everything's perfect and every little thing is done. And, I used to get in trouble for pre-announcing stuff. So I'm getting more disciplined in that aspect. So let's let's look at uh, let's look at our roadmap. And we're going to go through a list of announcements. I got to remember to follow my list here because I talked to Johnny last night and I had a list of things that I just totally blanked out. So let's look at our roadmap. We launched soccer Q3 in 17 last year, and that has been doing nicely. People like it. We're expanding leagues. We added Italy and Germany. Danny's out there in Malta doing a great job and getting ready for really the true launch, which is going to be when soccer moves over from the weekly model to the daily model, which produces a lot more contests, a lot more opportunity for fees, and that's what players want. So we're moving in that direction. We've got the World Cup coming up. We're going to have World Cup competitions, which is very exciting for everybody, even if you don't follow soccer that much or football. Everybody can get into the World Cup. So we're excited about that. Certainly, NFL is the granddaddy of all fantasy sports. It's also the most competed for, the most mature. And certainly we launched our platform, and with the help of the community, more like insistence, we redesigned everything. But after seeing everything, of course, I'm extremely happy with it and very, very optimistic about the potential. So we got the new platform out. We started advertising. We learned and are honed in on what our markets are, what our best options are for deploying of advertising dollars in combination with YouTube and all the social media platforms, but also type of more grassroots, more direct advertisement methods where we essentially are driving registrations. And that's been the secret of the big fantasy sports platforms, to have third-party people delivering order flow in terms of teams, in terms of registrations. We're working on an API that is going to do precisely that, allow third-party partners to have a form of our teams, meaning our players' salaries, a little form to make your team, even outside our platform. And one click gets you registered, gets that team into a free roll, boom, you're in. And there's partners we've got out there that are preparing this, and they're promising hundreds of registrations per day. So we're going to use that API, that form, to really go out and use that method as probably our primary method of client acquisition. And the cost is going to be very, very reasonable. So we've really honed in on what we need to do. Certainly, it's been a year of building, right? I mean, we're catching the seasons midway, and really, fantasy sports needs to be captured before the season starts. That's when people are itching to get into the sports. They're itching to play. That's when you get the most registrations, even at the daily model. So this is certainly our building year, but once NFL comes around again, which is in a few months now, we're going to catch the season from the beginning. We're going to have all these order flow generators, people locked and loaded, and we're going to start seeing some real growth, even though we've been growing every single month in terms of registration. We launched hockey, and I'm very pleased with hockey and the players that play it also. Certainly, it was towards the end of the season, so that's something that allowed us to do a sort of a beta test, but with a reasonable audience. Again, once the next season comes around, we're going to be able to come in guns blazing, and we'll show a little bit of that. The Visa MasterCard payment method, including Alipay, is operational. It's up and running. We're very happy with that. Works very well. Our KYC is very strict, and make sure that we comply with all of the rules that we need to and minimize risk. And we've essentially had no chargeback. So that's excellent. Basketball's out there. I really want to shout out to our team there, Philly and his group, Steven, and everybody else that's out there. And basketball is looking excellent. Again, we caught basketball towards the end of the season. So it's actually, I mean, of course, we wish we would catch it early and everything would be timed right. But certainly it gives us an opportunity again to beta test and adjust it, and of course wait for the next season to go in really hard. But you're going to see right now there's definite play, and the platforms are going to be ready for when we really go out. And then we launched Fantasy Crypto, which is a coin game that we basically combine fantasy sports with coins, created teams, and it's a very cool thing. I mean, it gets you to look at other coins. We'll look at that. New exchanges, we've already announced hit BTC. We're working on others. I mean, when that happens, of course, we'll announce it. And we've got all the rest of the announcements here. All right, so let's go. And here we've got basketball, and you can see here there's participations. These are the current contests. So, and this is daily, so it's really it's starting to pick up steam, even though it is towards the end of the season. We can see here the top players, the top teams, as we're used to right now. Here we've got hockey, the graphics in terms of the shirts. I love that. And in terms of the teams, we've seen how nice the UI looks. And again, we've got participation there. We're happy about that. It really has allowed us to fine tune the game without having, a mass amount of players. So it's a great. It came out really, really well. And here's that coin game that we worked on a long time, and we kept teasing everybody about the surprise game. And it's been great. I mean, there's no complaints on my side. I mean, look at that. There's 1,000 contests, 1,000 team contests, and there's a bunch of other ones, and people can play head-to-head, the free rolls. They can do privately, hourly, daily, weekly contests. And it's very interesting to see. Look at this team. Here's a team that is up 20%, and we can actually go to live scores and see that. And it's very interesting to see the teams that are way up there and are doing really well. You can see that. Look at that, Igor. Boom! I've seen his team up. Look at that. He picked all the winners, ICX, and so. And I look at Verge, of course. Verge, Sooner, okay. He's been in the news a lot, and he's also on our team. So kudos to Sooner. Look at that. All these guys have portfolios that are over 100,000, and the top teams are here. And it's very interesting to see what everybody's picking, and I love seeing it. It's actually given me a nice opportunity to really explore other coins, because I just kind of don't get into that. I'm pretty much a 2-coin kind of guy, as I've told people. But we can see here the player interface, or in this case, coins. Everything's there. You can go to their websites, their Facebook page, their Twitter page. You can see a lot of information, and of course, draft. And if you hover over the coin, you can see the name of the coin. So, all right. So that is in the situation of an update. Now let's talk about what's coming up. All right. So here's something very interesting we don't even have on our roadmap. These are apps that are well along the way. I can't even give a delivery date, but it won't be many months. It'll be a few months. So I would say we need to call this either Q3 or Q2 or Q3. But you could see that we're already on it, and it's really going to make a big difference in terms of deployment and it really almost serves like an advertisement platform to be in the Google Play and in the iTunes shop. It really does, and you can see there's a wallet, and we've really focused on the web wallet, the wallet app for the coin to make it very, very simple. I mean, with a couple of clicks of your thumb, be able to really do everything. And that's really what we're working on intensely, making sure everything works good. So that is certainly a good thing. And so the big announcement is that we I'm trying to stop the share. Okay, there we go. The big announcement is that we are launching an online poker platform, following all the rules, all the laws. It won't be the betting option won't be, or the buying option won't be available in the United States. It will in the rest of the world, and we are going to eventually go into the states that allow it. So I'm well aware of how we're going to operate that. But there will be many opportunities for free rolls, and the US will be able to play those, and it'll be all for no limit coin. And I want to show you the commercial. So roll the commercial, please.
I'm going all in.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed not only making it, but seeing the results. Adam, amazing. Hussein helps us with the editing. So we're really being developing this amazing team that we've got at our disposal to produce such excellent material. So I want to show you a call with Johnny that I had yesterday. So roll that, please. Johnny Chan, my great friend, my partner for many years. He's not just one of the greatest poker players of all time. He's an incredible businessman. We talk 3 times a week. He's always talking business, and he can hack what's going on. And I just want to say hi to him, and I want to get his take on what he thinks about what we're doing, which is launching the first ever, never seen, never experienced, no rake online poker platform. I know Johnny's not a big online guy. He's, tradition, legacy, but he's got a lot of buddies. And I just want to know what they're going to say when you tell them, look, there's this new game here. There's no rake. It's never been done. Tell me, Johnny.
Man, I tell you what, there's nobody, no site in the world ever done that, playing no rake, free play, you play long as you want, high as you want, and there's no rake. How can you beat that? I mean, I always go to a restaurant. This is price is right. When you play it online, when you can play no rake, price is right. Man, I tell you, this is going to be the no rake of the future.
Johnny, and I know that you guys that play the massive games, I mean, you guys even mind, right? Even if you're playing a pot of thousands of dollars, you hate if they take 20, 30, 40 bucks. And a bunch of other sites are basically raking the game with a K, not with a P, raking the game for 5% uncapped, even if it's capped. Don't you, even at your levels, feel like, I hate paying those 20 or 30 bucks a hand?
You know what? I think all the poker players can do the math. If you pay $10, $15 per hand, end of the year, you're gonna lose about 100,000. If you don't have to pay time, you would save 100,000. That's what it amounts to.
Well, I know you're headed out to Hong Kong. You're globetrotting all the time. You know, Johnny Chan is in huge demand. I mean, you know, every time I go with Johnny and we sit down, there's always 2-3 guys that are coming up for autographs, for pictures. It's amazing how you have, you know, created the persona. And it's true. The other day that I saw you playing the sit and go, I saw how good you are, even though, you know, sometimes you need a little bit of luck, but it just really confirms the level of play. And we're so proud of you, and the whole community, you know, loves you. And I know it was a tough sell. I got to tell everybody, it wasn't just, hey, you know, here's a little coin or whatever. Johnny wanted to know what we were doing. You know, he checked it with, I mean, he thought about it a lot. And I'm very honored that, and it's not, like I said, it doesn't end there. I'm always talking to Johnny. He's always introducing me to people. He's always looking for angles. We're going to have a big announcement about eSports, and he has a lot of input there. He also wants that to happen a lot. So I want you to have a great trip, Johnny, and safe. And, you know, we can still go ahead.
Rafael, I mean, you're the most hardworking man I ever know. I mean, we're team up. I mean, we
do. We hit it off. And Johnny says, I'm calling you at 3:08, and boom. He's the ultimate professional. I always like to joke to people that, I mean, he can play for $1 million on the poker table, and then once he gets up from there, he is the most efficient, risk-averse person you'll ever meet. Pretty amazing.
Thank you very much.
I'm honored. We're all honored. We're blessed.
I love this game, okay? I love this game. It's going to be play for free. You can't beat that, okay? The price is right.
Awesome, Johnny. Have a great trip. Thank you for doing this. I just called Johnny today, and look, he's right there, man. He's awesome. We all love him.
My pleasure, okay?
The great Johnny Chan. Thank you very much. I salute you.
Bye-bye. Don't work too hard now, okay, Rafael?
Oh, my God. Yes, you want me to work. We're, again, treating this whole project sort of like a club, like a Sam's Club approach, where where our job is going to be to deliver platforms that people want, and at the same time we can use blockchain to basically disrupt that industry and improve it and take out all the excesses and the greed factors and so forth. And what we do is we're treating the support and development of this platform, which we did through licensing. We didn't write the software because, of course, we're writing our fantasy sports platforms, and we'll talk about that. Everybody knows that. We've got our team, but we're combining it now with basically a company that has operated the software for a long time, and it works great. We tested it, and I want to show you a little bit of what I did in 2006 with my partner Oscar. You know, we've been going way back, so you can see that I've got 2 patents. One of them is a published application, and one of them is a granted patent. The granted patent is just a design patent, but it's still there, and you can see that we basically built that table that you'll see it ships right now in some places, that electronic, and we built the game from the ground up. I mean, this game, you know, we wrote everything. So believe me, I went through the pain of having to do this, and it was a lot of work. It took months. So to see a platform that is basically just, you know, ready to go is very, very nice. And I've gone through it, and it's amazing. And we've been testing it, and it's really fun. So I want to quickly go through it. Okay. So I want to basically, here's a poker platform. I'm very happy with the test up to now. Having gone through the process of of developing and coding a game from the ground up, I really appreciate having this situation where we're able to license. And the deal we arrange basically gives us a lot of leeway, meaning because of our existing infrastructure in terms of support team, basically very excellent people that know their way around tech and supporting systems. And now as we experience thousands of people through support, it just makes it easier to run other similar type platforms. That's what we do. So the costs of operating such a platform, even though it is a few $1,000s, we're just taking it as basically one more way to benefit the NLC2 cryptosphere or group, meaning a place where people can go and enjoy platforms that are needed and used throughout the world. And we have taken blockchain to improve the experience, lower the cost for everybody. No more exorbitant rakes where you play for a few hours and all your money is gone. I mean, when you have a very big rake, and that's the big announcement. That's the big announcement. It's never been done. No rake poker. And anybody that's ever played online poker sees how fast the hands can be. And even at a small rate, $1, $2, $3, $4 per hand, the money will disappear very, very quickly. So what we did is we said, we're going to build a huge base of users and let them use NLC2, basically free to bring in, free to bring out. And as we grow, we're going to reach a critical mass. And at that point, maybe a year later, we can decide, do we want to charge $1 or $2 a month for subscription fees? But preferably not. Yet our goal, as everybody knows, as a philosophy, as an organization, is build the platforms for the long term. And as coin holders, build platforms that will have true demand on the coin, like what we're doing. And as coin holders, we make money that way. So that's our angle in this case, just the mass adoption in terms of NLC2. It was built for gaming. It's instant. There's no fees, less than a penny, any transaction, even $1 million. And let's talk about the poker platform, which is so nice. All right, so you've got cash games, and you can see that it's pretty similar to all the other online poker platforms we've played. You've got a table here. There's nobody playing right now. There's the different limits. There's sit and goes. There's tournaments. You can actually create a private table for a private game. Again, not going to get raked. So you could set up a private game with your friends, put up NLC2, play, and everybody gets the NLC2 in their account, and the house did not take a single penny. Again, why? Because we're after the mass adoption. We'll take the hit of supporting such a platform, because if we look at it as a percentage of our total advertisement budget, it's very, very small, maybe 3%, 4%, very small. So even from that point of view, it's great. Yet we know that if we break that critical mass barrier and we get the players to come, and we have tens of thousands of players registered, one day we could be charging $1 or $2, nobody would mind, and we could be generating some money. But again, it might not need to happen because we're so in tuned and focused on the mass adoption. And really operating such a platform these days where we can license the platform and have an outside team support us that way isn't that bad. So here's the platform as we were just, and the settings let you, basically you can change the felt color, the background, you can pick your cards. There's a bet slider. There's all the rules about bet sliders. Auto buying, if you get too low, the system can automatically rebuy you in, or if it falls under a specific amount of big blinds. So it's pretty complete. It also allows you to play multiple tables, and we're going to see that probably in a demo. So if we do go to the table, we can also see all the options that you can either turn on, turn off, and you can add money to the table. In this case, there's a slider, and I've got 485 NLC2 in there. So if anybody wants to come and play, get in here. So yeah. Okay. So again, it won't be available in the United States as a full-fledged system. There will be. Okay. So stop share. Okay. So there will be free rolls for the United States, and there will be private games for the United States for play money, and some other countries that will also be restricted. So we can see here that, let's see, share screen again. We can see here that WPT and also WSOP, they've got their own online platforms in the United States, and it's basically for play money, and they still charge you money. And then there's a couple of other platforms that have done it through sweepstakes. I'm not sure. I mean, my lawyer can't figure that one out either. But we're going to stay clearly away from direct betting in the United States. Now, there are multiple states that already have legal online betting, so we're going to start the process there and try to get into those states. But in terms of outside the United States, it'll be available in many places. Some places outside will also be restricted. So we're definitely following the rules, but we're very excited because nobody's ever tried this. Nobody's ever tried no-rake poker because the greed factor is too big. You know, you start doing the math and it turns into millions of dollars, and you're like, well, we better charge. But we luckily are a different breed of project. As long as we can direct demand into the coin, that is phase one. Yes, phase two and phase three, you know, we might get back into, okay, well, we've got, 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 subscribers. Why don't we charge them $1 and make 50 grand a month? Something like that, right? But right now, job one is demand for the coin. So I'm excited about this platform, and I want to roll some sample hands. So go ahead and roll those. There we have no limit coin, rake free poker. The first time this has been attempted and deployed in such a way. We're very excited. There's Dan, there's Jason playing a little poker here. It's just for play money, not real money, but you can see that the site's ready. Works good. We got hand replay, so I can go back to that huge hand and replay it. And then there's that beautiful hand. I hit my set, bet 30, Dan raises, I go all in, he calls. And the bad news, a set of sevens. I can exit replay and get back to the real game. And you can play multiple tables. You can see here that if you go into other tables, you can show multiple tables or go to single table view. And pros like doing that, and you can play up to 4 tables, and we might increase that down the line. Let's see what's going on here with Dan. Dan bet, Jason raised. I think Dan's got a fold. He called. Oh, Jason's got to have a monster. Ace Jack, he was bluffing. Wow.
Wow, nice call.
The last thing I want to talk about is eSports. Esports is huge. We all know it. There's arenas. There's a lot of betting going on, even though in the United States it's not allowed in terms of direct betting. Now, in terms of fantasy sports, it is allowed. That's the caveat. That's the great thing of fantasy sports. As soon as you put in the fantasy model where you can't really do one player against the other, you have to mix players, then it gets through as a fantasy game. So here we are announcing our eSports platform with League of Legends, Overwatch, Counter-Strike, and Dota 2. So we're targeting Q1 2019, but I talk about this with some people, and I'm talking to some people from Korea, and we're doing it. It's going to happen, and we're going to get very deep into it, not just lightly, but we're going to get very deep into it. We're looking for teams to potentially sponsor. Some of these teams I've heard are worth $30 and $40 million. I think Jerry Jones owns the team over there, the Dallas Cowboys owner. So it's not a little game anymore. It's huge. You can see these arenas get filled up to watch these guys go at it. So we're going to join that party, and we're going to start working on it way, way before. I mean, we're not going to start working on this thing, 30 days before our deadline. We're going to start working on it essentially very soon in terms of putting all the pieces together, the feeds, the sponsorships, and we're going to go out in a very big way because we understand what's happening with this part of the industry. And luckily, we have our fantasy platform. And again, by the time Q1 rolls around, we saw the roadmap, and we've still got another wild card, cricket. Of course, MLB. That's what we're on right now. We're working on MLB. I love watching baseball with my kid. It's fun. It's great. As soon as MLB, fantasy MLB from us is out, it's going to be very, very nice. So we're excited about that. Then cricket will come into, of course, MMA. Everybody's waiting for MMA. So by the time the NFL rolls around next time, we're gonna have such a different and robust platform. So that's exciting. I can't imagine what next year is going to be, except just many, many tens of thousands of players, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe even more than that. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.